Hello and welcome to my crochet podcast. My name's Marta, for those of you new to the channel, and I'm here today to talk mostly about crochet. Yeah, I think I have just a couple of little knitting things. So it's mostly crochet and a couple of things I've designed, a couple of things, other people's patterns I'm following. I'm going to dive in straight away and introduce the pattern for this year's Lazy Days Cal. This is a Cal that I have run for the last 2 years, so I've done it 2 years. This will be the third year, if that makes sense. And the design this year is a shorty sock. And it's a shorty sock in DK weight yarn. I listened because last year quite a few of you said that you would like to see a non-4-ply pattern. So this is DK weight. And I'm really happy because the yarn, I shared the yarn. Did I share the yarn in the last one? I maybe shared a photo. I don't think I kind of shared it. No, it only arrived last week. This is the yarn. It is from the Wool Shed. Now, the last 2 years I have used yarn from the Wool Shed and it was the same yarn. I will pop up, I wait to say I don't have them samples with me. I shall pop up photos of the last 2 years' patterns. So the first year, I'm jumping about a bit here. First year I did a sock pattern, a full length ankle sock pattern. And last year I did a wrap. So 2 different designs, and this year I'd used up all that yarn. So this year I spoke to Sophie because it was Liv who dyed my first colours for me, and sadly, as most of you in the yarn community will know, Liv died just suddenly last summer during my Cal. It was really sad. It was sad for a lot of people that were following along. Many of you knew her, and it was just tragic. So I reached out to Sophie, Liv's mum, who has begun dyeing yarn, and I'm so glad she has because this is the colourway that she created for me. As in the year where I asked Liv to dye for me, I just gave her the image, which I shall pop up here. Do I have it on the wall behind me? I do somewhere. I can't see it. Oh, it's way over there. Is it in frame? No, it's out of frame. So I began this Cal by speaking to my good friend, who I've actually only met online. We've chatted a few times. I have not met her in person, but I would still call her a good friend. Many of you will get that. Online friends can be just as important, right? So I spoke to Katie. This is Katie of Katie Birdie Does, who is an illustrator, and I asked her to design for me my image for my Cal, and I knew that this Cal would last me a few years, and Katie came up with this beautiful image of foxgloves and a bee and grass. I wanted something that encompassed summer, that just spoke summer, right? And I just gave Katie, I didn't ask her for foxgloves or bees or anything, I just said create something in your style that you think that I would like, that my audience would like, and she came up with that beautiful image, which I now have the rights to. So that is the image on the project bags. Again, guys, I'm working in my middle son's room. I don't know, it definitely isn't one there. And I can't get my hands on everything. Some of the things I needed, I realised too late, are through in the office with my husband. He's working from home today. My stuff is just scattered through the house because this room is currently my middle son's bedroom. So I've got this wall. So I'm missing some things. So I do now know how to pop photos up here, which is good. So here is the image. I'll pop it up again if I've taken it away. The only thing is I do need to remember when I get to the end of the podcast to insert all these images, and where did I say I would put them in? So there is a bit of editing on my part, but I think it all comes together well. So I'm rambling. So I'm dead excited. I'll show you more yarn. Like, I'm going to pick up. So I've got all the skeins for this year's Cal. All this is just 6. I have 30 skeins of this. So this Cal this year, if you'd like a kit, it's unique to 30 people, 30 kits are going to be available this year, and that is it. So there will be yarn, there will be stitch markers. Here I've started sock number 2, and there will be stitch markers from, let me put my hand behind that. Is that going to focus? Focus. I don't think it's quite focusing. Sorry, maybe if I come back a bit. Anyway, it's a little shiny bee. There'll be a couple of stitch markers from Ruth, who is Labours of Love Crochet. She has some lovely stitch markers in her shop, and she's a crochet designer as well. I will make sure I pop her link in the description. Go and check out her patterns. And so where did I got to? So the kit will be the yarn, there'll be the pattern of course, there'll be stitch markers, and I am yet to decide the little extras because puppy. This year it's going to be a bit later, this cal. I think the first year I launched it was in August. Last year was June, which is kind of more when I wanted it to be the first year, but it, you know, things got in the way. This year it's probably going to be more like August again, because today I just finished the pattern. I need to get some photos. I need to get it wobbly on the end there. It hit me on the head. I need to get it out to testers as my next step. I wanted it all finished completely, and like I forgot to sew up this gap just before I started podcasting. So it's a toe up design. You can see I've started sock number 2. The rounds here are in extended double crochet, and I think they show off the yarn really, really nicely. I think there's just the right amount of variation in the colours for it not to jump. But I am so, yeah, I think it's coming up fairly true to colour. I am so happy with these colours. They are just beautiful. And so, I'm working up second sock. I'm testing my own pattern as I go along. And yeah, it's going to be a shorty sock. It's DK weight yarn. And it's really lovely. I haven't actually blocked this one yet. It's sitting on the blocker, but it isn't actually blocked. There we go, we can have a look. It has a fully formed heel, which we can see here. Here's the heel flap, heel turn, and then the gusset. And then finished with a back loop only ribbing. So that shall all be coming later in the summer. And anything else I want to say? Yeah, I was talking about the colours. So again, I just let Liv see the image which Katie made me and just gave her artistic freedom to go ahead and dye something up based on those colours. I didn't want to be too, imposing on her creativity, other than I did say my one thing was that it should be slightly bolder than actually, do I have last year's colour here? I probably do. See, it'll be in this basket, but I'm sure it's very, very precarious. Yeah, that's stuff falling already. Can't quite see any. Yeah, so last year's colour, as you'll see in the photos, which I have managed to pop in, last year and the year before the colour was very pale. So this year it's quite a different sort of feel to it, which I like. My sock blockers are from, I think it's D19 something, isn't it? I know loads of you have these blockers and it's such a nice design. I went for the one with the sunflower on it and I really like them. Definitely recommend these. Link will be in the description. Is that all I want to say on the socks? I think so. So next step, testers, and today I'll probably reach out to my tech editor and book a slot as well, so that the pattern will be tested and tech edited. It's a very quick one. I did that in about an hour this morning, maybe less than an hour this morning. Not that, I say things like that and then you worry that people then, maybe if they took longer than that, will then worry that they're not any good at crocheting, but I'm maybe slower than some people, and if you're slower than me, then that's all fine. No such thing as the crochet police, as I often say. Go at your own speed, do what you can, and yeah, that's probably my biggest piece of crochet advice, is try not to compare yourself to others. Especially when it comes to things like speed and how long things are taking you, because I think if you go down that route, then you've lost the point, haven't you? Yeah. So I'm very, very excited. I have the yarn. Look at these greens, aren't they just... They just make me think of early summer, about the colours just now. And then this is very foxglovey. Gorgeous. Gorgeous colour. So thank you, Sophie, if you're watching. I am super duper happy about that. I'm going to launch straight into my next pattern, my next project, which is in this Harris Tweed bag by Calip Schick Ellen. I need to keep looking that up. It doesn't roll off my tongue. Sorry. But there we go. I didn't want to get it wrong. Love this bag. It got so many compliments. I took it to Craft Group last Saturday and it got so many compliments. I was dead happy. Here is, and I don't have a sock blocker. I have that one I've just taken off, but this one is for my other sock blocker, which is bigger. And I will have to just put it on my hand. Gosh, I thought I was more organised than I am for this podcast. I'll put it on my hand. There we go. That just goes to show hand length and foot length, because these are for me. Well, they're not for me. They're the same size as me. My sister's partner is the same size feet as me. And look, that almost fits on my hand. That's really weird. But this is my size. My other sock blockers are my size. And here we have a sock mitt. Yeah, that does show it off better, I think, than just holding it. You get to see the way the bands are. And yes, so this one, as you'll have spotted if you have eagle eyes, is a knitted sock, and it is my first knitted pattern, knitting pattern. It's my first knitting pattern. I always wondered if I would launch into the world of knitting patterns, and I've gone and done it. So I think on the last podcast, it was 3 weeks away. It's been 3 weeks since my last podcast. Last week was just busy and funny, and yeah, weather was all weird. Thursday came last week and I just thought, I'm not podcasting. I'll do it next week. Also, I think I was at a funny point on this. I hadn't finished it. I was maybe about here on the... And I was thinking, I will show it off on my sock blocker in the next podcast. Should we see if it'll go on this? It will go on, because obviously it's small. This is smaller than the sock. It'll maybe give you a better idea. And I was thinking it'll be on the blocker and you'll be able to see it better. And I had only just started the crocheted sock as well, and I thought, oh, there's not much to share. I will hang on another week. Oh, this one's sticking a wee bit. There are a couple of spots on here that I do need to sand, actually. There's one. Snags the yarn ever so slightly. It doesn't actually cut it, it just more catches. There we go. You got a bit of an idea. This is a size 7 sock blocker, and the sock is a UK 9, and it's wider as well. But yes, we have a finished sock, and it's cuffed down, so I'm at the heel flap of sock number 2. So I'm racing through the second one, quite happy with that. It's just knit, and then a little bit of purl for a break, and then back to knitting, and I'm enjoying that a lot. And so the last podcast I was saying that I was hoping to write the pattern up. I'll see how I went, see how I got on with it. Obviously I haven't written up a knitting pattern before, so it was a bit of a challenge. I took a sock pattern which has a very similar construction, and I worked from that, and that gave me my sort of foundation for all the steps, and some of the wording is exactly the same as well, so that worked out fine. And I have managed to write up a sock knitting pattern. All I have to do is work out the tension. So I haven't actually blocked this one. So I will block it, I will work out the tension, and then I will be able to work out sizing. So that is the only step left to do. The pattern is good to go. In fact, my mum has already started testing for me. She has completed her first sock. There were, as is natural, there were a few little things here and there, which she spotted, so that's good. It was almost like a wee pre-test, because I gave it to her when it still had bits sitting in bright red that needed sorted and things. So I just told her to just skim over that, this is what I mean. I'm going to get back and properly finish that. So, she's got on okay. And I shall, like I say, I'll work out that tension. I'll then be able to, I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 sizes. I think it's 4. It could be 5. I can't remember if I've written it for 4 or 5. Sorry, there's a lot of can't remembers. It's been a busy week. Yesterday I had a day out in Dundee. It was a really, really exciting day because I went to the V&A where my youngest had a coat that they had pattern drafted, made, the lining of, I'll have a photo up, the lining, they designed that lining themselves and they constructed and made the coat, and it was in the V&A in Dundee, so really, really happy for them. Went to see that in the morning, and then I had some lunch in town. I went to the Batch, if you are familiar with Dundee. It was really yummy. And then I went up to the art college, which is the same art college that I went to back. I graduated in the year 2000, so 24 years ago I graduated, and this year my eldest had their degree show. So I did have goosebumps actually when I went in, and such nostalgia thinking about, because not much about the building had changed. It still had the same smell, even pretty much the same views. The feel of it was very much the same. So I saw their degree show, which I had actually popped into the previous Friday, but that was opening day, and I just kind of popped in, said hi, congratulations, had a quick look, and there were quite a lot of people in. So came out, and then I said I'll come back up during the week. That's what was my plan, and I did that yesterday. It was really good to get a day away. The boys looked after the puppy for me, and yay, that was good. So I'll pop pictures of that up too. And also their fiancée Joy had their degree show. They had spaces as kind of a corner of a room together because there are some things that they worked on together, and both their work was really, really good. So I'll pop some pictures up. Neil's is the photo based work, and Joy's is she did printmaking, and Neil did a little bit of prints as well. Yeah. So that was yesterday. What was I saying about yesterday? So today I'm supposedly back in my business, but yeah. Still a bit all over the place. Typical of me. So the yarn for this one, I haven't mentioned yet, is from My Mama Knits, who is a Glasgow-based indie yarn dyer, and it's your typical superwash sock weight yarn, and the colourway for the main colour is Siren, and I need to check. I do have the band for that one, and I still need to go find it and add that to my pattern. So sock knitting pattern is almost ready for proper testers, so thank you Mum for giving it a wee pre-test for me. I will be looking for testers, so if you are interested in testing either the knitted sock or the crocheted sock, could you send me an email? That would probably be the easiest. crochet@martamitchelldesigns.com. I'll pop that up here and I'll put it in the description as well, so don't worry, you don't need to screenshot or frantically jot that down. It will be in the description and you can go and grab that later. So if you're interested, just send me an email and say I'd like to test the knitted sock or the crocheted sock, whichever, and I shall get back to you. I think that is what I will do, because I don't have currently. I'm sure that some of my crochet testers also knit, but I don't know how many of them, and obviously I'm looking for crochet testers as well, probably both around about the same time, so you probably wouldn't manage both. Next up, I'm going to go back to crochet. So it's been 3 weeks, and it's actually been 5 weeks since I shared this one because I decided not to show it at all on my last podcast. I think because I barely worked on it. However, it's needing unfurled badly. Look, I am almost finished this. Do you know I have this greyish stripe to do, and then I have one, and then there's a sort of mixed bit. So then there's the stripe of the magenta, and then another stripe of grey, and then a big thick pink stripe, and it's finished. So yay! I guess it's symmetrical, so on this end I am about here. So I've got that to do, and I'm stretching it, you know, so it's really, it is 8, 12, probably about 16 rows. Woo! And that'll be this finished. A few ends, I've done some. So I've got some ends to sew in, and then, yeah. Isn't it lovely? It's still just so drapey and beautiful. I might put it on. Will I put it on? There we go. Oh, that's nice. I like the way that pink is sitting right across. Yeah, from the front it looks like that's like a yoke, doesn't it? Wow, it's beautiful. It feels so light. I really like it. This one has taken me a long time. I looked up the last time, and I think it was February 2023 that I began this. I hadn't realised it had gone on quite so long, because it is lace weight. And I've spoken about the yarn for this in depth in previous podcasts, and I'll probably talk about it more in the next one because it should be finished by the next time I podcast. If you really want all the information, I'll put it in the description if you want to check it out. And don't go to the last podcast, go to the one before if you missed that, because I talked about the yarn in that one. There you go. So this is a pattern by Joanne's Grace of the Crochet Project. Oh, I've just rubbed my hair. I did yesterday, that's the other thing I done yesterday, I went into a barber shop and I got it all shaved off. I was in Dundee. It was so hot, so thundery. The art college itself was just sweltering. I came out and my hair was just sticking to me, and I just felt so hot and sticky. And I thought, right, I'm gonna do what I normally do. If you've been following me any length of time, this is my typical summer do. And I just went into a barbershop. The guy was really funny. He was like, really, are you sure? Yeah. I've done it before, it's fine. And he kept double checking. He even had like the thing in his hand, and he's like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, it's just hair. I'm not that precious about it, it's only hair. So that was that, and instantly I just felt so much cooler. It's just, to me, it's just liberating getting it all shaved off. I just love it. I really like it. I just find it so much easier in the summer. I was actually contemplating on growing it just for this summer and probably like over winter, and then I'd get it shaved next year. And I had actually decided, yeah, I'd do that. And then yesterday I just got so hot and I caved and shaved it all off. So there we go. Right, I'm going to go back to knitting. I have here, this is not something I've knitted, but my mum has knit for me. It is a pinguino. If you're familiar with Stephen West's patterns, this is a Stephen West pattern. I'll make sure, yes, it's the right way around. I wore it inside out, which Mum wasn't very happy about. It was an accident. So this is the side. I will pop up photos of me wearing it. It's very heavy. I think it, oh, she told me how heavy it was. She weighed it. It is heavy. I did manage to wear it to the degree show opening. I really wanted it for the degree show opening because, yeah, just because it's so kind of arty, isn't it? And last week, degree show opening day was pretty chilly, and I got away with it. So there it is. Oh, there it is on. I stand up. Let you see. I will put photos up and you can get a better idea, because I'm very close obviously. So yeah, my mum has used some scraps from her stash, some from mine. She bought some yarn. Yeah, it's a big mix. It's a big mix. Most of it's held double with other colours. I think she basically created a chunky. So it was either an Aran and a fingering weight or 2 DKs together, something like that. I can't remember. Do you know what I'm going to do though? You guys loved it when I had her on the podcast. So I think I shall invite her back on the podcast. I'm sure she'd like that. And she can talk in depth because obviously she knitted it. I know a lot of it is brioche knitting. I know some of it's tuck stitches. I believe this is maybe tuck stitches. And yeah, there's some beautiful, beautiful textures in it. If I take it off and show you the back, because there was the yarn that had the beads through it, which is lovely. Yeah, this bit, I really like this. So there's some really textured arty yarns. And yeah, I'm just super grateful, and I know it's obviously not the right time of year now. I got away with it last week, but yeah, I know that's going to get a lot of wear, a lot of love, and I'm looking forward to wearing it next year. Definitely next year, come maybe August. We'll see what our summer's like, shall we? So far it's not been up to much at all this summer. Right, I'm going to grab a quick mouthful of tea. I'm just on my typical rooibos and soy milk today. There we go. So the last thing I've been working on, oh, have I caught it? It's caught on something. Yeah. The last thing I've been working on is the Battenburg. And I have done a ton on this. Literally. I have done so much on my Battenburg. And now, the section that I am, sort of the last quarter, although it's less than a quarter now, I can hold it like that, which is, I definitely couldn't do the last time. So this is basically a big fat L. I need to get another picture of it out on the grass or something. It's a big fat L, if that makes sense. And I just have this bit here to finish off. And it's just getting faster and faster working the rows, and I'm really liking it. Still really liking it. This is about all I worked on last week and the weekend before that, and yeah, it's just filling up fast. I probably did about 100 squares in the space of a week or so, 100 yellows, because I've really depleted you'll see my box. You see how sort of saggy it is. I think the last time I shared it, they were much more like, zoomed in like that. So, oh, now we've gone and messed them up. Yeah. Come on, you sit nicely. So I've used a lot of squares, and I've mostly been the yellow ones that I've been making and joining, because I suddenly realised that some of the ones in here I have, not so much now. I think 5 is possibly the most I have of any colour. But there were some colours I had 6 or maybe 7 in here of, and I thought, well, I'm actually running out of blanket, so I probably should make sure that I use a lot of these, at least until I start running out of colour ideas, before I make more coloured squares. And obviously before I go too much further, I will have a wee count and I'll see how many more squares I need, how many yellow ones, how many coloured ones, and then I'll know what I'm doing. But in the meantime, I thought, let's blitz this and use up some squares. I might need to shrink the box, make it smaller, because some are kind of getting a bit down and lost a wee bit. We don't want that. So the pattern is Battenburg Blanket by Sandra Paul, and It's a free pattern, you can get it on Ravelry. There are even video tutorials showing you what to do, and yeah, it's all good. All good. And the other thing, the community on Instagram, the Battenburg Mal 23_24, which is run by Die Buurvrouw and independence_yarn_craft. And that's been really fun over the last few days. Somebody popped in just to motivate them at the weekend, what colour square should I make, and people were giving them colours that they should make, and they made those colours and then shared in the group the colours that they'd made. And I thought that was a fun way of involving folks, and I think it was Jane who is created uniquely, and I really like that idea. I might do that myself. What colour shall I join? So, I think that is pretty much all my yarny chat for today. I'm not going to pull the pup on. He is still doing fine. I'll pop a wee photo up, maybe a video. Actually, I'll put up I think it's just a photo I have. When we were in Dundee, he got to come up to Dundee for the first time last week when we went to the degree show. And we had to take it in turns looking after him and popping up, and when it was my turn to look after him, and we just went for a little walk up the Perth Road and back, and he found a little walls that he could walk along, which he loves. He just loves to walk along a wall. So I'll pop up some, there's one with me and the pinguino and him on a wall actually, which I don't think I've shared on social media yet, so I will pop that up. It can be an exclusive to YouTube. And yeah. So yeah, Pup is doing absolutely fine. He's sound asleep right now, and yeah, I will pop him on the next one, is what I shall do. I was going to say something else in conjunction with that. What was it? Oh yes, pardon me, if you haven't already, do sign up to my mailing list, because still got lots of good content coming. I've shared the last few. I've had some really good feedback on the emails, my weekly emails. So I know that you guys are liking them. Those of you who are subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, the link will be down below, and it will be where you will see the biggest discount when the kit goes live, whenever that happens. I'm not even going to promise myself a date right now. So you'll be the first to get the discount, first to hear about them. It'll be the biggest discount as well. So I would encourage you, if you're not already, to hop on my mailing list. And apart from that, I would just say another plea. Subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a comment, give me a like, and comment on what you have been working on, because I love reading those. So that is me. Hopefully it shall just be 2 weeks till I am back in touch with you, back here on the channel, and I wish you a lovely 2 weeks. Happy crocheting, happy knitting, happy other crafting, whatever it is you're up to. Bye for now.